Hello everyone, how's it going today? Welcome back to part 2 of the Day Trading for Beginners Guide. In my YouTube channel, my goal is to provide you with top-notch education from the perspective of a day trader who's been doing this professionally and full-time for 8 years now. And I hope that you can pick up a lot of tips and tricks along the way that will add to your repertoire of skill sets that you already have for trading. And this is a great course and video series for anybody that's getting interested in day trading and that has a lot of questions that are not quite answered yet. So I hope that I can provide you with perspective from the insight and experience that I've had over 8 years now. And let's get started. So in this particular video, we're going to talk about some specific topics. So once again, welcome to part 2. So the first topic that we'll be getting into today together is why trade? What's so important about trading, or what's so special about it? Why do you want to get into trading? How did I get into trading, and what were some of the reasons? A little bit about my background story. And maybe it can inspire or give you insight on, hey, it might be a good fit for you too, or maybe not. So where do you start? There's so much information out there. And if you YouTube anybody, if you Google anything, you're going to get an overwhelming amount of information out there, and dissecting it and knowing where to begin is one of the hardest parts of trading. Because of the overwhelming amount of information out there, pinpointing exactly what to study, that's difficult. I remember when I first started trading, oh man, there weren't these types of resources out there. There were some for day trading, but when it comes to crypto, which of course applies to trading as well, it was almost impossible to find anything out there. Hence why I was one of the first YouTubers making videos for crypto. And then we're going to talk about how much money do you need to start trading? Everybody's always asking that question, right? Do I need a lot? Do I need a little? Do I need to go all in? And then we'll talk about how day trading works in general. A lot of people don't know how day trading works, and I'm here to break it down for you of how people actually profit in the market. And then we'll talk about how to make the move from a beginner to a professional, how to be a day trader that's just doing it a little bit part-time, and how do you progress to something like this where you're doing it full-time for a profit and you've left your career behind as well, and this is now the main priority. And then we'll talk about why do day traders lose money? These are some of the things that I wish I knew back then, and I really hope that this topic, why do day traders lose money, can really benefit you and give you insight on why people are failing when they begin day trading. And then the last thing we'll talk about is documenting and systemizing to develop a process that would give you a guideline and a process on what to do, how to document, how to actually learn from your mistakes, and why these parts are important. So let's get right into it. Let's start with why do I trade, and why should you trade, and what's so special about trading? So why do I trade, and how did I get started? Just to summarize really quickly, I used to be a mechanical engineer and also a project manager. Those were my two fields of specialty where I worked in those fields for over 5 years combined in my life. I also went to school for mathematics, and I thought I loved doing what I did. But you find out over time that it's not something you were really passionate about. And I always grew up with computers. As you guys can tell, I love building computers and having custom water-cooled systems. That takes a really long time to build. And I just love the technical aspects of hardware. And it's probably how it translated into me loving cryptocurrency and also building an Ethereum mining rig. In 2015, I built an Ethereum mining rig. And from 2015 to 2017, it mined 200 Ethereum. And then I bought another 200 Ethereum near the late 2016. And then in May, it ended up going from the $10 range to 350 range. So I sold like 400 Ethereum at $150,000 total profit. And then it kind of changed my life, right? I never had that kind of money or seen that kind of money ever in my life before. But I didn't want to be like one of those kids that wins the lottery and then they lose every single penny, or they spend everything, right? And then they only have like a memory of it, and then they regret it for the rest of their life. So I pretty much got into crypto because of the computer skills, and I wanted to make money fast. And there was a guy that used to always come around where I worked. He would talk about crypto, so it stuck into my head. So a combination of just hearing about it from people and also wanting to change my life and also loving technology, it translated into doing what I'm doing now, right? And then I took the $150,000 that I made in profit, helped out my family, spent a little bit on myself, of course, because I've never had that kind of money before. And then with the rest of the profits, I used it to invest in 4 coins. I didn't have Bitcoin at all until 2018. So I bought 4 coins way before the bull market. We're talking like June, July range before everything spiked up. I bought OmiziGo, IOTA, EOS, and also XRP. And those were huge money makers. And some of them did 1,000 to 5,000% gains or even 10,000% gains like IOTA. So that moment really changed my life. And then I realized that a bear market was now in place. I started laddering Bitcoin as it went down to the $3,000 ranges in 2018. And now I still hold Bitcoin. But of course, I manage my positions when I think it's at a peak. And of course, I'm trying to buy more and dollar cost average always. So those are the reasons I got into crypto, just to summarize it in a nutshell, and into trading in general. I think that trading in a crypto market, it can really translate the skills easily into traditional markets as well. Technical analysis is universal. Price action trading is universal as well. So you got to ask yourself, like, why do you want to start trading? What do you find appealing about it, right? I think a lot of people will say, I heard about it. It's new. It's a new hot thing. There's a lot of potential right now. And I could make a lot of money in it. That's the absolute truth. A lot of people get into the cryptocurrency side because of either the technology that they really believe in or the investment and day trading aspect where they can profit from it, right? And keep in mind that all cryptocurrencies have a technology behind it, but some people really don't care about the technology. Myself, other than my investments that I have long term, I personally don't care what these coins are. In fact, I probably know more about the ticker name, like what they actually are, like MTL, but I couldn't even tell you what it stands for, MTL or BNX. I have no idea, right? So I tend to stick to just the ticker and trading based off of technical analysis and price action because I'm a scalper and that's what I focus on. So you got to ask yourself, what are you getting into crypto for? Is it to invest long term because you believe in the fundamental side of it? Or do you want to start trading and investing and holding long term perhaps because you want to make a profit from it? So these are really important questions to always ask yourself before you start diving into crypto. So let's get on to part 2. Where do I start? That's always one of the more complicated and most commonly asked questions. Where do I start? There's just so much information out there. I go to this YouTube, I go to that YouTube, I Google this, I YouTube that, and there's an just overwhelming amount of information out there, and you just don't know how to break it down. You don't know how to dissect it. And that's exactly what my masterclass technical analysis course does. It breaks down absolutely everything that I know that I've created into a very comprehensive and detailed course. So just to give you an idea, check out my website at daytradersclub.net. And you'll see the course syllabus out here. So I go everything from the introduction to the basics of technical analysis, the tools used for trading, and the big 6 trading setups. And this is about 29 hours of lectures, over 53 lessons. And it also comes with my lifetime Discord membership. You get to join the Day Traders Club. And it also comes with my book as well. So I've been in the game for such a long time now that I'm able to release a really comprehensive course. So if you would like to learn exactly how I trade and all of the strategies that I use, you get to join us in the Day Traders Club Discord group as well, where you get to ask me pretty much any question you want. And it's going to really reduce the learning curve because you're going to have a mentor, someone to ask questions, and a very, very specific course list of what you can learn that will only make it easier for you, right? So if you're interested in that, scroll on below, and I do look forward to seeing a lot of you as my students. But for those that are not ready to take that jump yet and to dive deeper, and you're here just because you wanted to take a look at, hey, what can I learn? Where do I start? Well, the best way to start is just to watch videos, get a lot of information, take notes, start watching technical analysis videos, because the more you submerge yourself in the lingo of technical analysis, the better you're gonna have an idea of it. Whenever you're watching a video, if there's something you don't understand in terms of what someone is saying, like a category or any lingo, just try Googling it. Try and make sure you spend that time to do the research to learn about, hey, what is this person talking about? What is RSI? What is MACD? What is price action? So always do that work yourself as well. And you're going to be ahead of over 50% of the people that just watch videos and they don't put in any work. They don't research. They just want information to be fed to them. And I think that a lot of people do purchase courses, and if they purchase the course, but they don't put in that effort to actually take notes and study it, and they just leave that course sitting on the shelf and it collects dust, it's not really a problem with the course. It's a problem with the person that bought it, that doesn't want to put in the hard work. So I always recommend to take notes for whatever you're watching or reading as well. Do the research to see what these people are talking about so you can have a better and more thorough understanding of it. And other than that, that's probably the best way to go about learning. The next question that we're going to focus on and answer is, how much money do I need to really start day trading? I get this question commonly asked a lot, and a lot of people go into the market believing they need to have a specific or a minimum level of capital to start learning. So my best advice to everybody, first of all, is to paper trade. It's better to lose money on a piece of paper that's not real than to actually put in real money first. And if you go into the market with real money and a lot of money, you have to realize that you're competing against guys like me and other people who have a lot of skill. Day trading is one of the most competitive markets in the world for making money. When you lose a trade, it's not like the market's just taking money from you. The money that you've lost, it actually goes to someone else's pocket. They won the trade and they're taking it from you. The market is more so an exchange of wealth and currency. So every time you win, there's some guy on the other side that actually lost, and you're taking his loss as your profit. And that's how it works. So if you're trading, it's a very competitive and fierce game, because a lot of other people out there are trying to make profit as well. But to make profit, someone's got to lose. And if you lose, someone's going to take that money from you. So it's important to educate yourself first. You don't want to go into something that requires a tremendous amount of skill with no experience, right? You want to maybe have a little bit of experience, or you want to practice or learn about it before you start doing it competitively. It gives you a higher chance to be successful at it. So it's the same thing with day trading. It's important to educate yourself, get your experience up there, develop your skill set, know what you're getting yourself into, learn about the risks, study technical analysis, and then if you develop your skills and follow these things, you're going to have a higher chance of success. Let's just say we're trading one-on-one, right? The chances of a newer or amateur trader out trading me is probably going to be almost impossible based on my experience and my knowledge that I've obtained over many years now, right? So if you go into the market with a lot of money and think that you need a lot of money to make a lot of money, you're going to be humbled really, really quickly. Every time you lose something in the market, that's the market's way of saying, hey, I'm teaching you a lesson. It's going to humble you. And hopefully from each loss, you have to see it as a learning experience. If you don't see it as a learning experience, what's going to happen is you're just going to keep making the same mistakes over and over and over again. And if these mistakes are not treated and not fixed and prevented next time, the chances of you being successful is probably impossible. So always paper trade first is my best suggestion. And then when you're ready to make the next step, put in only what you're actually willing to lose. Because if you put in more than what you're willing to lose, it can be really detrimental to your life or your relationships. You don't want to lose money that you can't afford to lose. So only trade a small amount and use it as tuition. This tuition that you're going to lose or spend in the market, every time you lose, it's going to be to learn a new subject, to learn a new lesson. And unfortunately, lessons can be very costly, but they don't always need to be costly. They can be really, really low if you're trading a small amount, and especially if you're paper trading as well. once you get comfortable paper trading, once you get comfortable trading a small amount and you've had the consistency of winning and being able to grow your account from something very small to something bigger, then you have earned the right to play a little bit more. But you've got to first prove it to yourself. If you haven't proved it to yourself that you can make something small turn into something big with the money that you haven't earned that right to play a larger size. And that's the biggest mistake that people make, trying to play too much because they want to win more and quickly. And that's why a lot of traders, they also over leverage. They over leverage because they want to have more money to make more in a shorter period of time. And borrowing that money without understanding the risk, it usually gets people destroyed. So always paper trade first, and secondly, trade with a very, very small amount with the goal of learning first rather than profiting. Because when you actually start making good trades, then the profits will become a bonus. And that's what I recommend. So question number 3 now. So the next question that we're going to ask is, how does day trading work? So in the simplest form, day trading is a way of taking advantage of the volatility and the percentage movements up and down in a market with the hopes of profiting. And there's 2 ways that you can profit. You can profit by buying low and then selling high, or you can be more of an advanced trader and you can bet against the market, called shorting. I know a lot of people that have asked me, hey, how are you making money when the market goes down? It just doesn't make sense to them. So most people know buying low and then selling high, but they don't know about buying high and then selling low. So just to give you a brief example for those that don't know what shorting is, let me read you something from my book in my course edition version 2.0, 3rd edition book that explains exactly what shorting is. And this is definitely going to help you understand it thoroughly. Let's just say that Joanne says to you, hey, I want to buy 100 oranges for $100 total. Joanne wants to buy it from you, but the problem is you don't have 100 oranges. But you know somebody who has 100 oranges, and his name is Bobby. He'll lend you 100 oranges. You go to Bobby, you borrow those 100 oranges, and Bobby's like, hey, just pay me back 100 oranges, not in the actual dollars. I just want 100 oranges back. So regardless of the price, you get 100 oranges to pay Bobby back later. And it doesn't matter what the price is. He just wants 100 oranges back. So you borrow the 100 oranges from Bobby, and then you sell it to Joanna for $100 because that's what she was willing to pay for it. So you now meet up with Jen, and she actually sells you 100 oranges for $80, which is a really good price. And then you take these 100 oranges that you bought for $80 from Jen, and you return the 100 oranges back to Bobby. So because you sold Joanne 100 oranges at $100, and then now you're paying back Bobby, but you got these 100 oranges back for only $80, you actually made a profit of $20. Does that make sense? So when it comes to trading in the crypto market, let's say you wanted to short the market. You would first borrow, random price will make up right now. You short 1 Bitcoin and you borrow it from the exchange at $10,000. So then the price keeps dropping. You got to pay back the exchange 1 Bitcoin no matter what. They don't care what the price is. They just want 1 Bitcoin back. So now the price, for example, drops to $9,000. And then you buy back 1 Bitcoin from some random person on the exchange selling it. You buy back that 1 Bitcoin for $9,000, and then you give that 1 Bitcoin back to Binance. So because you originally sold it at $10,000, and now you're buying it back at $9,000 and giving them back, hey, you just made a $1,000 profit. So essentially, that's how trading works. Trading works by trying to make a profit when the market is either going up or going down. And we have to specialize in certain skill sets and using indicators or price action. And we've got to develop a strategy that's going to make things a little bit easier for us to understand and see what's going on in the market so we can capitalize on it. A lot of new traders go into the market without any experience or skills, and that's exactly what happens to them, right? They lose a gigantic portion of their money or all of it. But I'm here to help you break it down, give you kind of the ins and the outs in a brief way so you can understand that we can fine tune the way that we trade. And as we fine tune it and we build a better system, it's going to allow us to catch more of these trades. So the next question is, how do you make a move from a beginner to a professional trader? I can answer that by telling you, first of all, you got to commit. You have to truly commit to wanting to become a professional trader. And the way you do that is to set a routine. A routine is extremely important, from the way you get up in the morning, to the way you scan the market, to the way you're looking at what to trade for that day, how you're doing technical analysis. So these are some of the ways you can change from amateur day trader to a professional day trader. I would suppose that a newer day trader wouldn't really have the technical analysis skills that a professional trader has, nor would they also have the routine. The main difference between a day trader and a professional trader is going to be the time that they've put in to learn their craft. A beginner day trader wouldn't have put in nearly as much time. Maybe they're not nearly as motivated as well. Specific topics, and they constantly refine their strategies. They're constantly tweaking it. They're constantly analyzing what went wrong, studying it. So these procedures and processes that they have, it's vital to improving the skills that they have over time. So the next question that we'll talk about is, why do most traders lose money? Which is a commonly known fact, which also relates to the last topic that we were talking about, which is what compares a newer trader to a professional trader. What is a professional trader that's successful? What is this person doing compared to other people that's making them successful? How do I not lose a gigantic amount of money? And most people are. The number one reason that every professional day trader that's successful would be that risk management is by far the most important skill set to have when it comes to day trading. A lot of newer traders tend to neglect what risk management is. And risk management is a way to protect yourself and especially your capital so you can grow it. You have to first preserve your capital, then protect it so you can grow it. It's by far the most important asset that you have. You cannot trade without any assets. And risk management is a way of weighing your possible reward versus your possible risk. And this way you can go into the trades knowing exactly how much you can lose and also how much you can win. You also have to be very disciplined when it comes to stopping yourself out. Many newer traders go into this routine of never stopping themselves out. And then when the trade gets really bad, it turns from a bad trade to a catastrophic trade. And I've seen tons of traders leverage incredibly high. And that's another mistake as well. They leverage too high. They're playing with money that they don't have. And what ends up happening is that they might win, for example, 5 or 10 high leverage trades. And it's usually luck if they go on a win streak. Then what happens is they end up losing it all to one single trade because of another high leverage. And they lost it mainly because either the coin did something that was unpredictable, or the coin ends up falling down so much that they're in this moment of paralysis just for a few minutes and they're unable to make decisions as the price keeps going down. And this just relates to people not being able to stop themselves out because they don't have that discipline. So if I had to summarize why the majority of people end up losing money in the market, it would be because of poor risk management skills. They're unable to cut their losses, or they refuse to learn from it, and they keep letting their positions ride to astronomical losses that ends up just wiping their entire account. And the second reason is because people leverage too high. They believe that they need to leverage high to make money really fast, to grow their account quicker. And if they have a bigger bankroll, then they can make more, rather than actually taking the time to go slowly and learn the actual process and build up your account in a slow way, in a very organic way that's safe, that's protecting you from dangers, that's giving you a lot of lessons along the way as well. This is the better way to do it. The people that come into the market without any risk management, that leverage really high, that have no discipline and no game plan when it comes to the learning process, they're probably not going to make it too far. So you've got to protect that capital. That risk management, as I mentioned, is gold, and you need to have capital to trade. It's the most important asset. If you don't have capital to trade and you get your account wiped out, it's going to set you back a tremendous amount. And that's something you really don't want to do. So always focus on good risk management. Good risk management, having good discipline, focusing on good risk to reward ratios, high probability setups. These are going to be the formulas to your future success. So the next topic is documenting and just systemizing in general. And this relates to everything that we talked about, which was why people are losing money, what do professional day traders do, how does day trading work, how much money do you need, etc. This all has to do with documenting in terms of keeping a list and a way to learn, keeping a process. So whenever you're in a trade, what people should be doing, in my opinion, is they should be documenting the trades that they take. Write down exactly what trade you took, the reasons you went into the trade, what kind of trade it was in terms of strategy, what were you thinking, How were you feeling even at that moment? This will give you an idea of how the trade occurred and what is going on in that trade. If you can dissect your trade and you can analyze it because you've been documenting it, you can eventually create a process that's going to allow you to become a winner when it comes to trading. So let's just say you're taking a trade, you write down everything. After this loss, you get to look back on your notes. You get to say, hey, I took this trade because of this and this and this, and this is what happened during the trade. Maybe I can tweak this and this so it wouldn't happen again. So this way, it's a way of constantly tweaking your trades so you don't make and repeat these same mistakes again. A lot of people go into the market and they don't document anything. They'll go in there blind and they don't track anything that they're doing, and it's impossible to remember. Just saying to yourself, okay, I won't do this again. After making a mistake, you promise yourself, all right, I've learned it. I'm not going to do it again. It is not enough. You have to have a way of documenting things and writing it down. For example, if I lost a trade and I wanted to improve on it, I would write down exactly what happened during that trade. I would review that trade over, and I would write it on a sticky note on my monitor or on a physical piece of paper, and I would put it on there. And this way, every time I take a trade, I'm going to look at it and I'm going to be reminded of my last trade and what not to do again. The most profitable traders out there, they document their process and they have a system of learning. Having a system of learning, it's going to develop your skill set way quicker than just trying to wing it. So these are some of the most important steps that I wanted to tell you guys about. So this video is getting a little long already. So I'll see you guys in part 3. And thank you very much for joining me in the Day Trading Beginner's Guide. And don't forget, guys, I've got an awesome Discord group and my courses down below for those that are ready to take the next step. I'll see you there.